Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be covering the best Game Week 8 wildcard. If you hit the wildcard button in Game Week 7 or you're looking to hit it in Game Week 8, then this is the perfect for you. We're going to cover the best players, we're going to cover the best fixtures as well that you should be looking to target over kind of the next few game weeks. Obviously at the time of recording, no fixtures in Game Week 8 have been postponed, but I do expect some postponements maybe within kind of teams within London, so that is something to maybe take into consideration if you are looking to hit the wildcard button. It might be a better week for the free hit. Game Week 8 entirely might get cancelled at this point, and then I would definitely suggest hitting that wildcard button if you haven't already, just to capture all kind of the price rises at the moment. If you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, please like, comment and subscribe to the FPL Tom YouTube channel, as we are trying to hit 750 subs by the end of September. It's a big goal that we're setting, but I do believe that we can do it. But yeah, that's kind of enough waffle from me. Let's dive into my Game Week 8 wildcard draft. And to start off today's video, we are going to run through the back line, starting off with our two goalkeepers. Yes, that's right, two goalkeepers. We have Bazunu and Gaita. I've chosen them as kind of a pair as they're both at 4.5 million. Bazunu has a really good next two fixtures, Aston Villa and Everton, whereas Gaita doesn't have a fixture in Game Week 8 due to the rail strike. So we've picked Bazunu to kind of target these shorter term fixtures, and then Gaita kind of after Game Week 10 has amazing long term fixtures. So I definitely think we'll be having him till kind of the World Cup when we get unlimited free transfers. Obviously as well, Bazunu does take on Bournemouth in Game Week 12, so a very appetising fixture there in terms of defence. One problem I do have with both Southampton and Palace is kind of their poor defensive record so far this season. Both teams conceding a lot of chances and both kind of struggling on the expected goals conceded metric. So it's not like these goalkeepers have been amazing, but no one really has. And with these good fixtures, I am hoping that that kind of turns around, especially with Crystal Palace. They have played Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester City, some of the most dominant teams within the league in terms of attacking, creating chances. So you'd expect them to concede a lot of expected goals conceded. So with these nicer fixtures, we might see kind of a return to where they were at last year, where I think they were the fourth best defence for expected goals conceded. So hopefully with this kind of nice turn of fixtures, we will see kind of a resumption to last season. Another concern is that Southampton have only kept one clean sheet so far this season, so it's not looking great for Bazunu, but I do like him for kind of the short term, and then Gaita for the more long term. A lot of people have also suggested going for Nick Pope. I think that's a brilliant idea, but I'm not keen on the Newcastle double up. As you can see, we have Kieran Trippier in our side, who I will come on to talk about a little bit later. Moving into the back line, we start with Trent Alexander-Arnold. So far, it's been a very disappointing season for Trent and Liverpool. There's been multiple clips kind of trending on Twitter of him just not defending well, being exposed as a little bit of a fraud, and yeah, he's been a bit of a fraud in FPL as well. Currently the 12th highest scoring player in the game, 27th for expected goals and 7th for expected assists among defenders. So when we're playing that premium price and he's not delivering in terms of expected data or kind of the performances and the points that he's putting up, I think it's only really the Bournemouth game where we've kind of gone, that's the Trent we know. That's the Trent we'd like to see in our FPL team. So for the first time ever, I'm actually genuinely considering maybe dropping Trent Alexander-Arnold. At the moment, I've included him in this draft. We'll kind of see how the Champions League goes, see what kind of performance Liverpool are able to put in. With Matip being back as well, I do think we will see kind of a return in strength for the Liverpool defence. So I will hopefully expect to see Trent's performances as well return, as he's having to do less defensive work. The fixtures as well aren't great for Liverpool. Chelsea, Brighton, Arsenal, Manchester City and West Ham within the next kind of 5 game weeks. Not a nice selection of fixtures. I definitely think there could be an option to go without Trent on your Game Week 8, Game Week 9 even, wildcard at this point. But I've kept him in for now, just down to the fact that Matip's returning, and he is just such an explosive player. He's had previous history of absolutely killing FPL, so it wouldn't shock me at all if he kind of just picks it up one week and absolutely smashes the mantle, and I'd love him to be in my team at that point. But I do think there is a case to be made that it might be worth dropping him for a few game weeks. The next player that we're going to talk about is Reece James, a player who I've had in my team since the very start of the game. Been okay, you know, he's played at right centre-back quite a bit, but with Graham Potter coming in, hopefully it is kind of a resumption to right wing-back, or at least right-back. Graham Potter is a very, very flexible manager, very good at defensive kind of setting his teams up as well. Absolutely revolutionised Brighton and turned them into one of the best defences within the league. So far, I think they are third for expected goals conceded, Brighton, this season. So that kind of shows the amazing work that Graham Potter can do with a defence. So hopefully he can do that with the Chelsea defence. Reece James can start to see his kind of numbers return. Obviously played a free at the back as well with Brighton and had attacking wing-backs. Very nice tick for us in terms of Reece James owners. I expect him to kind of play a very similar system to that. So if Reece James is playing back in that right wing back spot, back to getting clean sheet points as well, could be a massive, massive player for us. Really, really good long-term fixtures. After the Liverpool game in game week 8, Crystal Palace, Wolves, Aston Villa, Brentford, Manchester United, Brighton, Arsenal, Newcastle. So really, really good fixtures. An easy hold till kind of the World Cup. So very happy to have him in this draft. Next player we're going to talk about is Kieran Trippier. Obviously previously mentioned him there. Newcastle's fixtures for the next 3 are absolutely amazing. Bournemouth, Fulham and Brentford. Then they do take on Manchester United and Spurs within the next 3 after that. But Everton, Aston Villa and Southampton following that. Very, very nice. So yeah, currently the second highest scoring defender within the game, second most attempted assist on set plays, on corners, and has been a bonus points magnet so far this season. I think that's just down to the fact that he's taken so many crosses and creating so many opportunities for this Newcastle side, who have looked very, very good as well at the back, keeping a lot of clean sheets as well. That Bournemouth fixture, absolutely delicious. I think he's kind of verging on the point of being essential within our teams for this kind of next kind of 3 to 4 game week period, especially with the really good fixtures coming up. Super high ownership as well. I do think that you need at least one Newcastle player, especially a defender, within your team for kind of the next 4 to 5 game weeks. Moving on to the final player, it is João Cancelo, currently the highest scoring defender within FPL. Really good fixtures coming up for City. Actually, that's a lie. Not that great fixtures coming up for City. Wolves, Manchester United, Southampton, Liverpool and Arsenal back-to-back. Not that great. But City do have the best defence in terms of XG conceded and in terms of expected clean sheets. Underlying data hasn't been amazing for João Cancelo either. 0.18 expected goals and 0.27 expected assists. Yeah, it's not what we want when we're paying, again, a premium price for one of these defenders. However, had an amazing, amazing performance against Sevilla. It reverted back to kind of the Cancelo of old, the Cancelo of last season, where he was in the attacking positions that we want to see from one of these kind of more premium fullbacks. So that's definitely something to consider going forward. I think you've got to have him in your team. City are, like I said, one of the best defences, and he is kind of, if he can play like he did against Sevilla, that is a massive tick for us in FPL. But let's move on to the midfield within this side. Well, I bet this isn't a man you expected to see within the midfield. Yep, that's right, it's Leon Bailey. He's made his way back in somehow after being an absolute disappointment to everyone at the start of the game. He's now finally kind of, I think, at a point where it's kind of interesting to have him within your team. 4.7 million, so just a little bit above kind of the 4.5s. And you know what? Villa's fixtures are very, very good coming up. If Steven Gerrard can kind of build on that momentum from the Manchester City game. Southampton, Leeds, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Fulham, Brentford, Newcastle, Man United and Brighton. So really good fixtures up until the World Cup. Obviously, as well, is Villa's third highest scoring player within FPL, behind Ollie Watkins and Emi Martinez. Scored that wonderful, wonderful goal against Manchester City as well to kind of win a draw for Aston Villa. Really, really like him as a player now at the moment. I definitely think he's someone that I'm going to be potentially looking to have on my wildcard. I think when he's at 4.7 million, I don't mind him kind of rotating within and out of my squad, being on the bench, and with the really good fixtures, I don't mind playing him because we've seen the attacking potential that this lad has. 1 goal, 1 assist, and has played back-to-back 90 minutes so far this season. So if he can keep himself injury-free, I definitely think he's kind of in Villa's best side. I've seen a few Villa fans talk about that as well, suggesting that he is kind of a key essential part of Gerrard's squad and should be playing quite regularly in the upcoming game weeks. Like I said, really good fixtures as well coming up for him. So I do like him as kind of a bit of a bench slash kind of starting option who's going to rotate within and out of your side. Moving on to the next man in midfield, it is Mohamed Salah. Now, another player who is very much under consideration. I've seen a few drafts so far for Game Week 8 and Game Week 7 and Game Week 9 that don't include Salah. But I think at the moment, I really want Salah within my team just because I don't know what other premium players I'd potentially go for. There's obviously KDB. I like him, but I have Haaland and Cancelo, and I think that kind of covers the City options very well. Heung-min Son hasn't been performing. You got Bruno Fernandes, not really too interested. Sterling is one who potentially could interest me, but it is quite a big price drop from Salah to Sterling. And then the forwards, there's obviously Cristiano Ronaldo, not there. And you've got Harry Kane as well. And I just prefer the cheaper forwards to Harry Kane at the moment. And that's why I don't really want it. And I think if Salah does slap, or KDB does turn it on, or Son somehow turns it on, I want to have that option to get back into the midfield. So I'm going to keep Salah at the moment, but he's definitely one under consideration. So far this season, 2 goals, 3 assists, and 38 points. He's getting a lot more touches out wide. He's getting a lot more touches, a lot less touches in the box, and having a lot less shots in the box. Wow, what a mouthful that was. And then that's exactly what your mum said as well last night. But that was awful. But yeah, so Salah at this point last season had 5 goals, 3 assists and 52 points. It's only a 14-point difference. So I don't think he's that far off kind of in numbers terms where he was last season. It's kind of like 1 goal and 1 assist behind where he was last season. So it's not a million miles away. But on pitch performances and watching with your physical eyes, you can see that there has been a drop. I think that might be down as well to the fact that Trent can't be as adventurous. There's obviously a injury crisis within the midfield of Liverpool's side, and that is just going to have a knock-on effect to the kind of the whole team. I think with these players coming back, I think there will be an upturn in form, and I do expect Salah to kind of just keep ticking along nicely as well. Like I said, the other premium options just, they're not there at the moment, so I'm not 100% convinced on selling Salah. I think I am going to keep him. The fixtures, like we said with Trent, aren't amazing, and I do think there is a potential case to switch him out of his side, but for the moment I'm just going to keep him as I'm not convinced by the other premium options, and I like to have 2 premium options within my side. Let me know down in the comments below what your plans are for Mohamed Salah, but let's move on to the final player within my midfield. It is Jarrod Bowen, pure punt option. This one absolutely punt central, bit of a punt for including it. But yeah, Jarrod Bowen in the side. I like West Ham's fixtures coming up: Everton, Wolves, Fulham, Southampton, then Liverpool, but then after that Bournemouth, Manchester United, Crystal Palace and Leicester. So really, really good fixtures up to the World Cup, and in that difficult period I think you could easily switch him out for Zaha or Maddison, who also have amazing fixtures. I like Bowen because, number one, he falls under this kind of talisman kind of mentality. That's the players that we want to be looking for when we're looking at these kind of lesser sides. Obviously with the Liverpool and the Cities, you can kind of go for the kind of lesser options because they're still going to perform really, really well. But when you're going for these like kind of mid-table or kind of, you know, in that bracket, I don't want to kind of upset any West Ham fans in here. But yeah, so when we're looking for them, I do like to go for kind of their key players. So the Zahas, the Maddisons, the Bowens, these kind of players who are the main features within their sides. And that's why I've chose Jarrod Bowen. Obviously, looks like he potentially could be on penalties as well, as he took a penalty in the Europa Conference League against FCSB. Wow, what a mouthful again. But yeah, I took the penalty, so that is very good. But his underlying data absolutely reeks of piss. No goals, no assists, and he's not above 1 in either kind of expected data models. No attacking returns as well for him so far this season, but we know how good this man can be. 4th highest scoring player last season within the game, and absolutely blew it away with his 12 goals and 17 assists. So he does have that potential. He's currently fighting for his England place as well, and with this really, really good long kind of fixture period, I do think we will see an upturn in West Ham's form, and I definitely think I want to be targeting West Ham in some way, and I think that way might be Jared Bowen. Let me know down in the comments below if I've convinced you to take a potential punt on Jared Bowen. But let's move on to the forward line within this squad. And to start our front line, of course, there was only going to be one man. It is the man, the myth, the legend, the Nordic meat shield. It is Erling Haaland. Do I need anything? Do I need to even bother saying anything on this? Most owned player in the game so far this season has got himself 10 goals, 1 assist, and collated 67 points. If we include the Champions League as well, it is 12-7 for Erling Haaland. Absolutely killing it. Honestly, unbelievable stuff from him. Every single goal was within that 6-yard box. But who cares? Who cares? Really, who cares? Because he's absolutely fucking killing it. Honestly, absolutely amazing player. And with the good fixtures that City you've got coming up, Wolves, Manchester United, that Southampton at home fixture, oh my god. Then they do take on Liverpool and Arsenal, but I still think he's potentially like perma-captain worthy at that point. Brighton, Leicester, Fulham and Brentford, really good fixtures after that up until the World Cup. So very, very much a hold. Very much got to have him in your team for the upcoming fixtures. Moving on to the next forward, obviously a little bit more to talk about with this one. It is Isaac. Very good fixtures, like we said, with Kieran Trippier for Newcastle coming up. That Bournemouth fixture in game week 8 is delicious. Very, very delectable. Good underlying data as well, and good performances in kind of his first 2 Premier League games as well. Had a big chance against Crystal Palace and obviously scored a goal against Liverpool as well, which unfortunately didn't actually equate to anything in the end because Liverpool are just, you know, time thieves at that point. Obviously, if he doesn't kind of turn up or switch it on, then I do think you could potentially move to Tony or Solanke during this period, because they also both have really good fixtures and are both kind of impressing at the moment. Tony more than Solanke, both obviously playing as well for their England kind of places, so very interesting to see how that one works out. I do worry with Isaac though, how does he fit in the team when Wilson's back? Will he be pushed more out wide? Will he see his minutes reduced? There is that kind of big question, whereas Tony and Solanke don't really have any other competition for their spots. So I am a little bit concerned, but I really want to target that Bournemouth fixture in game week 8, and that is why I've gone with Isaac. And to finish our starting line off, it is a man that I do believe you've got to have in your side. I do think his ownership will absolutely skyrocket after kind of game week 8, to be honest. Nottingham Forest away in game week 8 is absolutely delicious, but the good fixtures keep on coming for Fulham, Newcastle, West Ham, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Leeds and Everton. Honestly, absolutely incredible. The man's been incredible as well. Second highest goal scorer in the Premier League, 6 games, 6 goals. Could have had 7 as well if he didn't miss the penalty away at Wolves. Like we said, Fulham, amazing fixtures. The man's had the most shots in the Premier League and the most shots on target as well. So he's getting a good volume of shots off and also getting them on target as well, which is very, very crucial. Second best expected goals as well within the league. So absolutely just killing it. Killing it is Mitrovic. And honestly, a lot of people doubted him at the start of this season, but he's just proven them all wrong, isn't he? And with this amazing fixture run, I think he's just a no-brainer. Easy, select and forget within your team because he will score goals. Fulham as well have looked actually quite good. I think they've got a really good chance of staying up this season. There looks like a lot more dreadful teams down the bottom than Fulham, so it'd be very interesting to kind of see how that all works out. But I do think with this good fixture run, they could definitely pull themselves clear of a relegation battle. But before we finish, let's move on to the bench. We obviously spoke about Gaeta. Fofana is another player that I've included on the bench. Like I said, if Potter can sort that back line out, very, very impressed with him. 4.4 million as well. Amazing long-term fixtures. Could easily switch out of your team. You could potentially be looking at a back 5. I think the Chelsea double up at the back as well could definitely be on, because like I said, in his previous roles as management, Graham Potter has always been able to sort out good defensive data for sides. So if they can keep the clean sheets at 4.4 million, absolute bargain central. Andreas is the next player. Obviously, Fulham, good fixtures. He's playing regularly on set pieces as well. Real no-brainer. And then my final player on the bench, I think you could go for absolutely anyone in this position. Any midfielder that kind of takes your fancy. I've gone for a more expensive option just because I like talking about him at the moment, and it is a Doze. Again, pure punt, which makes me a bit of a punt. yeah, had the most take-ons during the Wolves game, but it did only play 17 minutes, and I think that was his first ever professional game of football. So, you know, there's going to be an embedding period, but I think he's just so explosive. Go watch that clip of him, kind of his whole 17 minutes where he completed the most dribbles within the game. You won't be disappointed, and I think he's very eye-catching. If he can start to get some regular starts with Southampton's good fixtures as well in the short term, I definitely think he could be worth an option. But like I said, that one isn't entirely up to you. If you did enjoy the video, if you did enjoy the kind of the wildcard draft, let me know down in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. I hope you have a good game week. If you need any questions as well answering, leave them down below. Thank you very much for watching.